irresistible internet radio at roughedgefm.com.
Oh, did you see that?
Real Radio, brought to you by JT's Automotive, a mechanic you can trust. It's the Real Angler Show, live here on Rough Edge FM. And now, here's your host, Kevin Brennan.
Cool.
It's the Real Angler Show, live here on Rough Edge FM. And now, here's your host, Kevin Brennan.
Guys are on air.
Little delay. How's it going, Scott?
It is going well. How are you, my friend?
We're doing all right, man. We're getting a little kinks worked out. We got people already checking in. We got a nice show today. Got a little playback. Little delay. How's it going, Scott? There we go. All right, Scotty's on it over there. What up, Scott? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. As you can see, we're all maneuvering. This is our very first TV show. I think I just stopped it. I hit the computer.
There we go. Anyway, we got a bunch of people checking in.
This is a very unique evening,
up,
and I did the wrong thing, so my bad.
Davey, what's up?
We do have
Luther went on a trip with him pretty soon. You guys working out the kinks, man. This isn't this cool, man? A lot of work, man, but it worked out. This is what it looks like for watching.
It's our very first YouTube show with multi-cameras and everything else, so we're still working out some kinks, but I think that we just got it down, so we'll keep our fingers crossed. So what's going on, Ken? What's going on in the world of Real Radio?
Real Radio, man. This is big for us, man. I mean, the way I explain it, watching like the Dan Patrick Show and watching who else is there? Jim Rome is one of my favorite guys to watch, and the way that they do it, I've always seen their setups like this when I'm watching them on CBS Sports. So to kind of do it like this and then have it stream straight to our YouTube page so that we could share it audio and digital is pretty cool, man.
It's wild. Yeah. And it's a little scary, too, because we're sitting here in the studio and we're looking at images of ourselves from 30 seconds ago. So be careful where you scratch.
Right.
And we'll see how this evening works out. So what's going on with the
Let's see. Yeah, well, I got some things. Just wanted to check in with everybody. Say thanks for tuning in today. Want to see who's fishing right now. You know, we do talk a lot of fishing on here. We do get into some other topics, but fishing is primarily what we talk about. Looks like, let's see, lobster season's opened up. I see a lot of tuna being caught right now. The rock fishing in the Channel Islands is good. We're actually supposed to go on a trip tomorrow, man, and got canceled due to the weather.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, we don't.
It's supposed to rain this weekend all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's supposed to get pretty bad out in the ocean too. I think 12-foot seas.
Wow.
And a lot of wind, so they canceled our CCA trip. But let's see who else is fishing. Anybody else fishing this week? See, Jason Diaz is in here. He caught a big tuna, 100-something pounder.
Nice.
But the fishing looks like it's going pretty good, man. You know, Southern California, we get good weather, all the time, right? So it's not like we're not like in where we go to some crazy climate change. We complain if we get a little bit of rain. We need rain, but then we end up complaining when it rains for more than 1 or 2 days, and because we're spoiled with our weather. So we'll get a little bumpy here over the weekend with some weather, but I'm sure we'll be fine.
Yeah, of course.
We're gonna do some fishing because around this time of year, actually the trade winds change in the Channel Islands, so you can get in some trips to like San Nicolas. That's where we were supposed to go tomorrow, but with the weather the way it is, where they had to pull our trip. But this time of year, some people think, it's getting to winter, it gets dark sooner. The fishing, the weather might be bad, but actually, between now and the end of the year, some of the best fishing, man. I used to play Turkey Bowl football in November every year, and I remember it being like 80 degrees in November. So, the weather's not going to hold us back from fishing.
No,
so,
I would think not.
So let's see who's fishing here. Let's see. We got Jason there still. Oh, 351 pounds, he said. Wow. That's a big one, man.
Dang, I guess.
Cool. And we have a great guest today we're going to bring in here in a minute. We got Dave Brown from Okuma, so that's cool. Tell a little story how we met, and then he's got some product he's going to talk about. And let's see. I want to thank Butch Finnegan. He's out in Florida, and people listen from Florida. He's sharing our show out there with some of the fishing groups out there using social networking on a high platform. So that's what's going on. What's up with you, Scott? How was your Halloween?
It was okay. We didn't do much because, first of all, we don't usually have trick-or-treaters at my house. We didn't have anybody. We had one person come by this time at 4:30 in the afternoon, and by the time we got to the door, they'd moved on. It was too bad. But it was still a nice evening. We got together with the family. We all put on costumes.
I seen your costume.
I sent you the picture. I was Carol Baskins from that tiger show.
Yeah.
And
it made sense once you told me who you were.
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were like from that group Poison or something.
And that also would have worked as well. Yeah. So how was yours? Did you guys get any trick-or-treaters or anything?
I took off, man. I went to a little get together. I dressed up as the genie from Aladdin.
You look good.
Yeah, thanks, man. I heard I could look like Mr. Clean, so maybe next year I'll just change from a blue shirt to a white shirt.
There you go.
As Mr. Clean.
Be lemon refreshed.
Yeah, but it was a good time, man. I ate the biggest caramel apple I've ever eaten, man. It was humongous, the size of a steak, and but it was good, man. So
that's what it's all about.
Let's see, we got some big news we want to announce too. The Real Anglers Fishing Show will be back on the Pursuit Network in January at 5:30 a.m. You can check us out on Amazon Prime. And the guppies will be back really soon too. We got a trip coming up with a small group of autistic kids from Abel's Corner that we're going to take out next month.
Very
10
nice.
of them. So we're going to check into that. And some of the schools, if they get back going in January, there's a couple of fishing clubs that we were working with that those kids will be able to come out and fish with their teachers in their club. So what we're trying to do with the guppy program right now is just partner with smaller groups, so we're not enforcing all the COVID rules, with the public, where we're policing it with 40 people. Which we're going to get into that once we start fishing again with we're open to the public, is 40 people on a clinic style instead of 150 on the pier. We want to do 40 with the clinic style, and you cannot register within 90-day period. So you got to wait so 40 other kids could come in. But right now we're just partnering up with smaller groups where their staff could come out and help us with, breaking up the groups into small 3 or 5 kids per group with a hoop net and a couple fishing poles, and then teaching them that way. That's
awesome. It's just awesome. That's what the Real Guppy program is all about. It really is.
Yeah. So we were trying, man. Everybody's making something work right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying relaxing it. We all, what's going on is important, but people are trying to get by the best way they can, with keeping safety in mind. So,
and there's ways to do that. There's ways to do that, as you're proving.
That's it, man. So yeah, Scotty, why don't you tell them where else they could find us?
You can find us virtually anywhere now on podcasts or on anywhere. Actually, now on YouTube as well. But we're on Spreaker, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on iHeartRadio, and there's a couple others that are pretty unique. You can go to the website, which is realradio.fish. All the information is there, and you can find us virtually everywhere because of that. Yeah, you can also listen to the show live by going to realradio.fish or choose the show that you want to listen to from earlier. So kind of cool stuff there.
Wow, man. That's pretty cool. It's like the Jetsons in here. Again, I'm super stoked, man. Thank you guys for putting this together. The studio to put all this stuff together, man. This is really, really, really exciting. So we're going to get here to our guest here in a minute. Let me see some of the comments that we have in here. Let's see. Vincent is in here from Jurassic. Vince, say what's. He always shares our stuff as well with other groups. TJ, how you doing? Amber, Robin. Oops. Let's cancel that.
Hello to everybody, and thank you for listening.
So yeah, out there. You could ask a couple questions if you have a good question for Dave. He's going to answer it again. He's going to talk about a couple of reels that's going on. There's a contest that's going on. The fishing industry as a whole, how it's going. Maybe a Fred Hall update. But yeah, man, that's what we're going to do. So
let's take a quick break. We'll be back in about 60 seconds, and we'll be talking to Dave Brown of Okuma Fishing.
Today's episode is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses, Fishing Syndicate Rods, Promar Ahi USA, Anglerware, Channel Island Sport Fishing.
Back to us. All right. So this is where we're bringing our guests now. Again, we're trying to work out the kinks. This is something we never ran ads before normally either. We kind of just come in and say thank you to our partners, but we're trying to put it together like a real full production, man. And that was our first crack at it. So we're gonna go and bring in our guest now from Okuma, Dave Brown. You out there, Dave? Good, man. Thanks for bearing with us, man. I think you guys. More business going on. ICAST, you kind of get a chance to have little meetings and stuff and talk to people on the one-on-one. Well, Carrie Bernstein messaged me that she knew Dave personally, so she did this Facebook introduction, and then I got to talk to him on the way. I think he was running to the restroom at ICAST, and he gave me his card, his information, and then within a couple of weeks, he actually sent out some product to the Guppy program. So
very nice.
That's how it worked, man. We use social networking for real social networking. So Dave, go ahead and tell people about Okuma. Thanks for being here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that's cool. She was kind of giving me the story on Facebook, like, yeah, tell him I know him forever and stuff. So I was like, there's my in right there, man. There's my in, and it worked,
exactly.
Man. So now you're here on the Real Angler Show.
It.
Got just a couple quick questions to ask you. Like, how did you get into the fishing industry? I started out pinheading on boats and working my way up before I started the Real Anglers TV. Like fishing, and also what got you, in the industry to work inside the industry.
So I grew up pinheading as well. I used to work on the Annie B barge out of Long Beach. We used to launch out of Belmont Pier. My dad and I would go out every weekend. I was probably about 8 years old, and I was gaffing, fish for guys and just having a great old time. I did that right up through as I was a teenager until the barge actually closed. Then from there, I was a tournament kayak angler back in the early 90s. I did that for, she's going to be 30 years already at this point. Still kayak. I'm out just about every weekend. I get out on the water. Being a kayak angler, I actually knew a lot of guys. I used to be on the Malibu kayaks team. Then I was on the Cobra kayak team. And then one of the guys that were on my Cobra team actually started working at Okuma, and he called me up. I used to be a buyer for Hilton Hotels at the time. Called me up, got out of the hotel industry. I was able to get into Okuma, and I've been there for 14 years already. It's crazy.
That's cool, man. Yeah. Did you say the kayak team was called? The Cobra
The
kayaks?
first one was Cobra kayak. Oh, the first one was Malibu kayaks. Then it was the Cobra kayaks team. So I was part of the team that designed the Cobra Marauder. Back then it was the Fish and Dive was the big one. Then the Marauder was the one that, when I was around, that was the one that we had worked on with Rick Hawthorne. Used to be one of the gentlemen that used to work at Okuma as well.
People like kayak fishermen are like some of the most savage fishermen I think you see. They go out crazy distances. They deck out their kayaks with all kinds of gear and hit the water, man. For myself, I go about as far as the break wall, and that's enough for me, man.
Especially with that video that's going on over this weekend with those guys, that person that got picked up by that whale in the kayak. I think that was out near you guys somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was up north by Vince, man. He'll try to get me out there with the Jurassic guys, and I'm like, nah, I'm about this far out, man. And he's, oh, you're crazy, you're scared. And then you see a video like that, and you're like, that's why I stay.
Well, as many great whites as Vince and those guys tag in that area. There's no chance I'm bringing a piece of plastic up there with me.
Oh, man. They're crazy, man.
They are.
Jurassic. Anyway, I think Vince is still watching right now. Let's see. He said you can't hear. If you can't hear us, if you go over to the Real Anglers page, that one's streaming as well. So check out the Real Anglers Facebook page, and I think that one's streaming live, and you'll hear all the audio perfectly from there if Dave isn't coming through the microphone to my direct page. So what do you think about the fishing industry right now? What's going on with the COVID? How do you see any trends? What do you think it's going to look like once we get out of this? Are you seeing, I know down here, the fishing tackle industry was like, it was almost like the tackle shops are just getting depleted of their gear. Like fishing is going to make a strong comeback.
It's it's a crazy time for Okuma. It's a crazy time for everybody in the outdoor industry right now. We're down there, we're based in Southern California. A lot of people don't know that. We're just east of Los Angeles in a city called Ontario. But it's been so crazy for Okuma as well as everybody else. We're sitting at about 30% inventory. We can't get containers of product fast enough. And what we're finding is there's just a ton of new entry into the sport. It's moms and dads taking their daughters and sons fishing. I mean, they're heading to the pier, they're heading to the lake, heading to the river. Nobody can go to a park. Disneyland's closed. You can't go out in public. You can't go to the movies. You can't go to the park. You can't do anything really. So a lot of these parents are taking out their kids, and it's a lot of just straight new entry into the sport. Awesome problem to have, not having product. And it's just great to see so many new anglers out on the water.
That's funny that you mentioned that, because when I talk to new people about fishing or what Real Anglers does, say when you go to an amusement park or a ball game, you're kind of entertained by the entertainment. Or if I take my kids to Magic Mountain, the kids kind of run off until it's time to eat lunch or it's time to leave. Fishing, that's just, that bonding is different. So people that without those other resources, they get a chance to do that, So that's exactly what we try to preach to the new fishermen with the Real Angler Network.
Exactly.
So,
and so what we did on the Okuma side is we started, this whole new angler program. We started something called Tune Up Tuesdays. So what we're finding is I manage all of the social media for all three of our brands. So what I'm finding is a lot of people coming to me with questions. How do I tie this certain knot? What's the difference between a casting rod and a spinning rod? Simple questions that as a fisherman your whole life, you already know, but as a new angler or somebody entering the sport, you're maybe intimidated to go into a shop and ask this question. So they're coming to us at social media and asking these questions. So every Tuesday we're putting out a new video. We've got new blog posts hitting on these very basic topics. And that's it's been a really cool program. There's getting a lot of looks and a lot of views, a lot of comments coming through, just super basic stuff. How do I set the drag? What's the difference between a spinning reel and a bait cast reel? How do I set the drag? Just all kinds of stuff. It's been great little thing that we're doing.
The 101. I was on a panel with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and they were saying what's a good way to get more people fishing, because I used to say that I remember doing this commercial, like this spinoff of walking into a local tackle shop to talk to the guy as opposed to going to a department store like Walmart, because the retail worker really doesn't understand what a sinker is and the type of gear, as opposed to getting outfitted from a professional, even a local guy, So they were saying, well, that's a good idea. So what do you recommend to get more people to get started fishing? And I thought maybe like in stores. You think maybe in stores, like a seminar on the weekend, something in the future for guys, maybe like at a Turner's or something, where guys will come out and do like an hour in store, and then invite, using social network as a way to invite those same people asking questions once it opens up, for them to come down again, like a clinic or a seminar or something inside of a local tackle shop.
Those are always awesome, and we do a ton of them. We do them up and down the coast here. We've got pro staff that head to all these shops. Once everything opens again, we'll be able to do those. Actually, we do them all around the country. We've got pro staff all around the country, and those guys will get out and they'll actually do a ton of these things. But as you guys know, there's tackle shows. Like this weekend, there's something happening down in San Diego, and at those various things, there would be seminars throughout the whole day. Generally, those schedules are put out of what these guys are going to be talking about. Maybe it's a knot tying seminar, maybe it's a bluefin tuna seminar, it's a sword fishing. Everybody's deep dropping right now. That's the hot buzz. So maybe it's, it could be anything. And these guys are just out doing it, teaching, it's your opportunity to go out and learn some stuff, but in stores are awesome. And it's a great way to learn and talk to some different folks.
I think that's what we find too at the kid fishing days, is dads they can't tell their daughters that they can't tie hooks. So they might find something different that they could do for entertainment. So they'll come up and show up and say like, hey, like they'll bring the fishing pole still in the plastic. And then once we teach them that, hopefully that's what's going to get them to continue to do this as a tradition. But at first, like you say, they don't want to walk into a tackle shop and ask. So that's cool, man, to hear that you guys are doing the same things that we think are going to help build it up, and then also break down those barriers for the foreign speaking, that's too complicated for me, and shy away from it with all these opportunities between what's going on now and then all the different ways for people to get to a seminar, find out. It's just going to help grow our sport.
Of course, yeah. And of course, there's some great forums you can go to, Bloody Decks being one, but go on the Facebook page. You can type in just about whatever city you live in, and then type the word fishing after it. There's some kind of group that's involved for fishing. Lots of great information that you can find out there. Internet itself is a hard thing, because you can ask a question that you think sounds pretty legitimate, and there's going to be 10 guys below you that are just going to pound on you about whatever your question happened to be. So it's, that's a lot of these questions are coming via private message and direct messaging, and for all manufacturers, not just us, but it's a great opportunity to help and get some people out fishing. Once those kids or even those parents catch that first fish, they're hooked, so to speak.
Yeah, that's it, man. Teach a man to fish,
exactly.
Right? Scott, you got any questions? You see you looking. You guys want to jump in and ask?
I do have a question, but let's take a quick break here and come back to Dave, and because I want to ask him about Okuma and what makes it so special, what makes it different than the other brands. But we're going to take a quick break, be back in about 20 seconds, and we'll check.
Today's episode is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses, Fishing Syndicate Rods, Promar Ahi USA, Anglerware, Channel Island Sport Fishing,
Thanks, Ralph. All right, and we're back. And yeah, I did have a question for Dave, and I kind of hinted at it there just a little bit, because I know you're going to talk about some of the products that you've got now, and I just wondered what in general makes Okuma different from other brands.
Okuma is actually a really cool company. Like I said, I've been there for 14 years. We don't have a lot of turnover. Our entire management staff is about six or seven people. We're a small group of folks. Like I said, not a lot of turnover. The first employee that Okuma ever has is the vice president. The second employee Okuma ever had is the president of the company, actually, of all things. There's just not a lot of turnover. We're a small group. We're a big company, but we're a small company. So we're very reactive. If somebody comes to us with a product suggestion, we're very reactive. We can actually get on that and make some of the stuff, like the new PCH rods down in Southern California. We had some great retailers that came to us and said, look, you guys really missing the mark, and here's what needs to be built. We're able to do that. We do that all around the country. Our reps we work with, our rep groups, we're able to put this product out and put out what the anglers are actually looking for. Another unique feature is we are our own factories. We build our own rods. It's our own rod factory. We build our own reels. We're not sourcing product out from everybody. In fact, Okuma actually builds a lot of reels for other well-known companies that I'm sure you on the tip of your guys' tongues as well. So a lot of people don't know that. It's pretty cool. It's just a fun group to work with.
That says a lot. And, I was thinking that one of the things is probably the passion that's involved, because obviously you all care enough about fishing. You love fishing enough to make it your career, make it your life. And I like also the idea about the smaller company, because, as you said, you're able to interact at a more personal level, and that means a lot.
It's like I said, I do all the social media. I'm one of the marketing managers. I do all of the social media. So if somebody sends something in through social media, you're going to get an answer. If you see a question come or an answer come through, it's crossed these little fingers here.
That's cool, man. Engagement is important.
It is. And go ahead and throw out those links. Where can they find you?
Of course, OkumaFishingUSA.com. That's our website. And from there, it's pretty much Okuma Fishing USA all the way across the socials, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. You can find us everywhere. And then, another fun thing is I've got the Okuma hat on and everything else, but we're actually 3 different brands. So under the Okuma umbrella, we've got Fish Lab Tackle, which is our bait company that we actually started that up, coming up on 2 years now. And then we have a line company called Soft Steel USA. We create, we do braid, monofilament, fluorocarbon. But there's the 3 brands all under one umbrella, and Okuma's our main company. Same thing on socials for those guys. All of our brands, they all come across these fingers here. So if you see any photos or anything else, it's this guy that put that stuff out there for you.
So go ahead and tell us about some. I know you wanted to mention the Komodo. Yeah. You got some gear you want to talk about. So let's talk about that. And I know you got some other some different gear and some different contests that are coming up with Bloody Decks.
I do. So I'll be quick on this
fire
stuff.
Away.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, I'll say go ahead, fire away.
So the first one I want to talk about is the Komodo reel. So, we're based in Southern California. All of us are diehard saltwater guys. I know you guys are up on the coast as well. I know Vincent's on here, and he's an old kayak guy as well. But this little bait cast reel here, I don't know if you could, it's hard to actually see the size, but if you can see how small that guy is there. Little tiny bait cast reel. This thing is powerful. It's specific for saltwater. You got over 20 pounds of drag. It's a full aluminum reel. It's got stainless steel, all internal work. So stainless steel main gear, pinion gear, drive shaft, and spool shaft. It's got that giant throw on the handle there. I don't know if you can see that. I think it's about 100 millimeters on that dude, so you can really torque that guy down. Load that thing up with braid, go out, fish spotties, calico bass, yellowtail. I mean, this thing's got a lot of stopping power. It actually comes in 3 sizes. That 200 size, that's going to be your standard bait cast type of bass size reel. And there's also a 350 and a 450 size. That 450, you're going to get well over 30 pounds of drag. The last couple of years, that's been our go-to bluefin reel. We actually work with a lot of the sport boats down in Southern California, and I'm taking that big reel out. And they always roll their eyes, like, really, you're going to bring some bass gear out? But with those reels, you can get that bait out just a little bit further than everybody else, which makes a huge difference on a lot of this live bait fishing right now. But with that stopping power, that 30 pounds of drag is going to put out more drag than most of the lever drag reels that people are fishing for that fun size fish. Your 20 to, say, 50-pound yellowfin and bluefin that's around. When you start getting up in the big fish, of course, you want to go with the big round reel with a lot of capacity to it. But awesome little reel. And speaking of the Kavala, which is our lever drag reel, that's that guy there. That happens to be the 5 narrow. So that's a nice little narrow. You can see it's just about the width of my thumb there. So it's a nice little casting reel. All 2-speed reels. It comes in a left and right hand. There's a 5. There's a 5 narrow. There's a 12, and there's a 12 narrow. Lever drag, 2-speed reels. There's the big button there, just like the Makairas. Very cool little reels, but actually really cool on the Kavala now. If you haven't put your hands on one of these things, you're gonna have a really good opportunity through Bloody Decks. They actually just kicked off a contest today where they're gonna give away a few Kavala reels. Head over to BD Outdoors. Everybody knows Bloody Decks, but head over to BD Outdoors. They're running their promotion. You can find it out at on their social media as well, which is BD Outdoors. Follow their instructions. They're giving away a few of these reels. It's a really cool promotion, but something kind of fun. And then real quick on the other two brands I was talking about, Soft Steel, that's our line company. That right there is the Soft Steel Fluoro Stretch. That's a stretchable fluorocarbon line. One of the issues with fluorocarbon line is that there's zero stretch to it. Invisibility is perfect, but there's zero stretch. So what you get is not a lot of great knot strength. You can cinch those knots down, but they don't really lock down. And then, of course, you can pull hooks off a fish because there's no stretch to it at all. But that fluorocarbon stretch line, a stretch fluorocarbon, you've got some shock absorption to it. So when these big fish, they come up and they hammer yellowtail when you're working iron or anything else, that shock absorption, you're not going to get a lot of ripped hooks out of the mouth. Then, of course, being stretched, when you're cinching down your hook, you're going to get about 30% more knot strength out of it too. Fred Hall, if we're ever able to get back together again and actually see some stuff, we've got the knot tying machine right in our booth. You can come in and tie your knots with regular fluorocarbon and then tie it with some of that stretch fluorocarbon. And you're, it's actually mind-blowing. The invisibility, the abrasion resistance, and then that stretch is just incredible on that stuff. One other one is the new bait company that's called Fish Lab Tackle. Just real quick, because I'm a Southern California guy and I love fishing the harbor. So some of these new baits, this is called the Bio Minnow. It's actually a little soft swim bait. There's two of the sizes there. This guy right here, dude, I love fishing this thing for spotted bay bass and calico bass and sand bass within the harbors. I know we've got a big CCA event coming up, I think on the 21st down in San Diego. But I have it actually rigged on one of the little Z-Man weedless. You kind of see that little weedless hook system there. These things get bit. I actually take the kayak out quite a bit and fish the Long Beach breakwall and fishing that little that weedless head there, pitching that up into the rocks and just letting it work its way down. That thing gets bit. It's just an incredible, incredible little bait. Sorry to mean to take up all your time.
No, that's cool. Looks like that bait right there would be good too, and the surf around here too, or some of the jetties as well.
They're crazy, yeah, for sure. There's so much swimming, little micro movement and secondary movement on these baits. They drive fish crazy.
I'm just smiling, checking out the video and watching him go to work and looking at the questions come in. Vince has put some questions up there and put some facts up there about what they're fishing up there. Let's see. The Komodo Shallow Water Daily bringing up 5 to 10 pound cod and more. So
yeah, what Kevin is saying is that this is the first show we've actually been able to see our guest. Usually it's just a phone call, so this is really cool. So it's good to see you, Dave.
You as well. Shoot,
yeah,
I'm glad I wore a hat though. I've got this COVID hair happening here, which is driving everybody crazy. So.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I got that too.
One day we'll get a haircut again.
So we got a few more questions for you, man.
One of these days.
We got a few more. This is when we get down to the to just like a couple fun questions,
sure.
like with the foodie. So I'm a saltwater guy, right? My favorite is halibut. We have this ongoing joke with Sergeant Bruno over here with Scotty. His favorite fish is like the filet of fish sandwich. And I bet you he still has the frozen rockfish I gave him in his freezer, right?
No, we ate that. We barbecued that up. Yeah.
So you grilled it up.
Absolutely, yeah.
So when you look at the hair, there it is. So I think there's a little delay, but so what do you prefer to eat? Do you have a favorite that your go-to on the grill, or what you go to in the saltwater or the freshwater?
I do. My favorite fishing is yellowtail fishing. I love getting out on the boats. I love to throw iron. I love to throw plastics for yellowtail. Of course, live bait's always fun as well, but there's nothing to me like fresh yellowtail on the grill. I've got a lot of tuna. I know one of your guests was just talking about a 260 on the bluefin. I got a 235 last year. That bluefin is incredible, but I'll trade you any day for yellowtail. I love yellowtail. Grill it up, little olive oil, little salt and pepper. It's just nothing like it.
Sounds good, man.
Making me hungry.
I know, me too.
When it comes to my tuna or my yellowtail, I just want to dip them in a little wasabi and some ginger and just like an apple, just tear it up.
We seared a lot of it last year. Sesame seed, little sear on it. Oh, yummy.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Little squares and cut them up and man, yeah, starting to roll all over
Can't help
all over it. We got to get Scotty out there to do some fishing so we could try some real fresh right off the water fish, because I try not to freeze a lot. I try to, I usually eat it up pretty quick. I'll keep it in the refrigerator for a few days, and then my surplus I'll feed 6 or 7 other families and friends with it, But we got to get Scott some fresh fish on.
It's about time for me to go out again. I haven't been on the ocean in a long time, and the last time I did it was lobster fishing, so a little different. Yeah, but I'm ready.
Do you have any trips coming up, Dave? You got anything you got going coming up?
I don't. We just did a really cool trip with Ollie from BD Outdoors. We did some really great yellowfin tuna fishing. We actually got into some really good yellowfin fishing. that's that video. If you happen to go to BD Outdoors for that promotion, that's that video that you'll see running. We just shot that a couple weeks back. Those big fish were 15 miles from the dock down in San Diego there. It was nuts. Unfortunately, it hasn't been like that since, but it's been good. As far as other fishing, though, I've had to give away all of our trips. As you can see, I'm actually in an upstairs bedroom right now. This is our office. We're all working remote. That said, we're not doing any trips. We're, I've got a lot of Okuma sponsored trips, but we're having to give those things away. I've got pro staff that are heading out. We're still sponsoring the trips, but the pro staff are heading out and they're doing the giveaways. In general, on those trips, I'll always jump on those because I want to make sure it's handled correct. I like that personal touch with all the anglers out there and to chat with those guys. But we're just not able to do it. We're on travel restriction. I think I was talking to you a little bit earlier, is I did get to go up to Northern California. We were fishing the Delta, doing some filming for for the bait company. And, we were able to do that. But for us, it's tough. We're all working remote, as I mentioned, just like everybody else, I guess. But if anybody was to get sick and happen to get in the office, we're shut down for a couple of weeks. And, we as a company, we can't do that. But just like everybody's in the same boat, so to speak.
Yeah, man. So when you go to your fish, we talked a little bit about the sauce. I'm a Tabasco guy on fried fish or Cristal. What's your go-to sauce? Are you a sauce guy, and what's your go-to sauce?
I am a sauce guy, and I'm a Cholula guy. I love me some Cholula. She is my gal. If I'm at a restaurant and I see Cholula on the side of the table, I get excited. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not a hot sauce guy. I'm not. I don't want to burn my lips, and I actually still like to taste my food. But I will definitely grab me a little Cholula.
Yeah, that's got like a milder flavor. It gives it more flavor than heat. It does. That's for sure.
If they sold it in a 10-gallon jug, I think I'd be happy. That and like a 10-pound of Nutella, and I think I'd be set.
Yeah, put it upside down like a Sparkletts jug.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
The handle and get it whenever you need it.
It'd be perfect.
Let's take a quick break. We'll come right back. Hang on just 1 second. We'll be back in like 20 seconds.
Today's episode is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses, Fishing Syndicate Rods, Promar Ahi USA, Anglerware, Channel Island Sport Fishing.
Can you hear us right now?
No.
We're back.
Okay. So we're back. Yeah, throwing those right in the middle. Just got last couple quick questions, Dave. I think we talked a little bit off air. Is just can you say anything about the Fred Hall or people that are wanting to know about the season that's coming up? If you heard anything as far as
I have, I just got word that I'll run down the list. So in general, my position, I will travel the entire country and do just about every trade show that's out there. There's the places are starting to fall right now. Miami Boat Show was canceled. That's generally in February. That's usually the first step. Surprisingly, they're doing the Tampa Bay show this last weekend and it still ran, but they are canceling the Miami Boat Show. And then so working west, Fred Hall would be the next one there in March. Currently, they are not completely canceling that show. I did get word. I got an email from Fred Hall company directly that they're going to run the Del Mar show first. And then the Long Beach show will be after that. And it sounds like they still are trying to do it into that maybe second quarter. So maybe April, May. Of course, they said it's going to be a completely outdoor show. And they said there's going to be some covering to it. For those of us that go to the Fred Hall show every year, we know we always get at least one day of rain. So some sort of cover is going to be key. They can still do the San Diego show because they've got that entire fairgrounds that they can build that up and make that happen a little easier. But other than that, the show, according to the Fred Hall company, it's still going on. Just don't have any firm dates yet at this point.
Yeah, a lot of events are continuing to schedule and then canceling at the last minute if they have to. So, and that's how it should be. You got to be hopeful that things are going to be better, and let's all keep our fingers crossed that happens.
Of course.
Yeah, man. Let's see. I know there was some other stuff that I seen on your gram. There was one. What was it called? The Let's Get Real segment. You want to tell the viewers again about different ways that they can engage with you guys?
Yeah, of course. So
what's the Let's?
So what we do every Monday, we run something called Let's Get Real. It's Instagram Live. It's at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and it's just chatting with different anglers from around the country. Every week, I have a different guest. It's usually pro staff. It might be a boat captain, some of our TV personalities from around the country. And the way that whole thing started was everybody was just kind of in the same boat, or not in the same boat, as I mentioned earlier, but just kind of talking about what's happening. We know that everybody's not out fishing at the time. So this all started back in March, right when everything kind of kicked off. And it was just to kind of talk about what's happening. How's your neck of the woods? What are you up to? What are you keeping sane? You know, we wanted all these people that were all out there in this together to know that they're not alone, right? You know, you have somebody to talk to. If you're stuck in your little bubble, wherever you're out in the country, we wanted them to know that, you know, all of us other anglers, we're one community all the way around the country here, and that we're all kind of in the same boat. Yeah. And it's every Monday at 3 o'clock. That's a fun little program on Instagram Live.
All right, so the people that are listening, every Monday on Instagram Live, they have a segment called Let's Get Real. Oh, looks like we're getting disconnected on my regular Facebook, but Let's Get Real segment. And Dave has different people from different communities, meaning we talk about communities, like we talk about kayaking, we talk about the surf fishing. What else you got? Hoop netters, you got divers. Although hoop netting is kind of what everybody does during the summer, but there's different communities of fishing, right? You got like crazy shark fishermen off the pier, guys that go on long range trips, just different communities. So he's going to bring different anglers from all over the country to this segment called the Let's Get Real segment, and check that out on their Instagram every Monday at 3 o'clock.
Exactly. For like this week, just to give you an idea, this week I had Big Gus from Tattoo Nightmares. He was my guest. He's a diehard fisherman. He has that company called Fish Elite. I've got Byron Chavez from Lake Fork, Texas next week. He's one of our captains out there. And then I've got somebody from Florida, Steve Nagy. He's going to be our guest the week after that. So lots of great guys. We spread it all around the country and just chat with everybody.
That's cool, man. So let me ask you a question before we let you go. When you get a chance to go around the world, do you get to around the country, like to all those trade shows? Do you get so busy that you can't fish, or do you get a chance to fish all those areas while you're out there?
Let's just say my suitcase generally contains one of our travel rods, maybe two. You never know what you're going to come across. You know, we spend a lot of time in Florida and all through the South where there's always some sort of pond in the back of your hotel. So, you know, you can sneak out, throw some baits around. You know, you got to do some product testing, right? That's what we all do.
Yeah. That's what the guys, Steve over at Promar, I was talking to him when we were in ICAST. But he said, yeah, you got to watch out because you never know if a gator's in that little pond either.
Exactly.
If they're fishing, next thing you know, getting snapped on by a gator, some crazy snake in the weeds. But, yeah, I got to remember that. I've been out to ICAST twice and I haven't fished in Orlando, so I got to make sure I either get there a day early or stay an extra day and try some fishing.
Get you a gator.
Give me a gator. All right, Dave. Anything else you want to mention, man, to our listeners about what to look for, or just run back through where they could find you and go ahead and give them some more info?
Of course, yeah. You know, I appreciate you guys having us on. You know, if you want more information about Okuma, head over to okumafishingusa.com. If you're interested in some of that stretchable fluorocarbon line called FluoroStretch, head over to softsteelusa.com. And then for the Fish Lab baits, it's fishlabtackle.com. I mean, we got such cool stuff like the giant popping rattle toad that's going to be hitting the market here pretty soon. So there's some really cool stuff. You can find out, you know, all of our social media, reach out there, head over to the Facebook page though, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions as well. And yeah, I appreciate you guys having us on, man. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you. We really appreciate you putting up with us and your patience today. It was our first big YouTube show, and so you're an important part of that, obviously, and we appreciate your patience and hanging in with us.
I had a great time, and I'm happy to do it anytime you guys want.
Yes, sir. We'll have you back for sure, man.
We'll hold you to that.
Perfect.
All right, man. So
thanks much, Dave. We'll talk to you soon.
Guys. Thank you.
That was Davey. Have a good night, man. That was Dave Brown with Okuma Fishing, and Okuma USA is where you could go and find more information. If you have problems listening to with the audio from my direct page, you can check out all their platforms. We talked about the Komodo SS. We talked about the soft steel stretch fluorocarbon. Got the new Fish Lab baits, and just a few other things that they're doing. The Kavala giveaway with BuddyDecks.com. Check that out with Ali. It's just good. I mean, I'm living my dream, man. You know, to be having this great podcast, but having some of the fishing industry guys that have been coming on the show lately, man, I'm just smiling. Sometimes I'm getting a little nervous on the questions that I ask, but this is cool, man. And again, we just want to say thank you to Davey for coming on and spending a few minutes. But he brought up a couple of good points, and that's what we talk about with Roll Angler Scott, is getting the newbies out fishing. And with this reset button of the pandemic, yeah, more people that are out fishing. So that's what's good about our program, and what we do is when more people start fishing and they want to get out to do it, that we'll be able to be that liaison to help, do some of the clinics and do some of the fishing that they're talking about.
Yeah, like you have in the past. I mean, that's what the Guppy program is all about. That's what you've been doing all along is getting people to not be nervous about fishing. If they've never done it before, they know they can go to you and they can go to people like Dave and Okuma, and they can get that information and learn about what it is before having to go out and actually do it.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not like a super pro, but working on boats, I know enough for the general stuff, tie some sinkers and hooks and stuff and get that done. And then, I'm just smiling, man. I'm sorry. I'm just really on a good one as far as what we're doing in here today. Again, thanks. So again, that's Okuma USA. Check them out on all their platforms. Monday, they have the Let's Get Real segment, and he has different guests on there. He said somebody from Texas coming in next week, I believe, and then another guy from Florida. So the meaning you're going to get some regional fishing knowledge and maybe you're able to try some of that here. Or if you are from different, you watching our Facebook Live and you're in different parts of the country, that that somebody in your backyard might be one of his guests. So check them out on their Instagram. We're just about done, Scotty. I gotta get to another meeting. I'm doing a Zoom meeting for the Guppy program. So real quick recap, if you got a chance to, if you got any questions about the Real Guppy Outdoor program, we're gonna get started hopefully again in the beginning of the year. Right now, we're just working with smaller groups and organizations that have a staff that's going to help with their organization. So we're going out with one called Abel's Corner, which is a autistic group.
I've heard of Abel's Corner.
Yeah, so we got 10 of those kids coming out. We'll break them up into little groups. Thanks, Vincent, man. He said we killed it. Got some feedback already. And as you can see on our YouTube page, there's questions and comments and stuff. People are actually tuning in and checking it out, man.
Tell them where the YouTube page is.
My bad. Yes, I get so excited. So check us out on Real English Fishing Show on our YouTube page. You can check us out on Amazon Prime now. You can also look for us on the Pursuit Network starting in January every Saturday at 5 a.m. in the morning. Our next guest, get a good question with that. So with the Real English Fishing Show, we do have different partners in the industry. So next month it's going to be Stephanie Valero of RBFF, which is Recreational Boating Fishing Foundation, takemefishing.org, and they're going to give you some insight about, maybe some legislation and just the fishery as it's growing. Fishing isn't just a good old boy sport. There is a lot of diversity in fishing, and that's what we also show with Real English Fishing Show. So Stephanie's going to come in, and you could ask some questions about that. Again, it's not just about catching a monster fish. There's legislation. There's different rules and regulations that go through fishing that we want to bring to you guys. So all of our guests aren't just going to be names from the industry as far as manufacturers go, but it's also going to be people from the fishing industry. So what goes on behind the scene, how we keep the marine protected areas open, that they don't close everything down and stuff like that. So next month's guest is going to be Stephanie Valero of Recreation and Boating and Fishing Foundation. And they talk about things like Rock the Boat. That's the ladies that are out fishing, that are out doing it. First Catch is one of their things they're doing, people posting up their first fish. Like we said with the Guppies, that's about catching a memory. So she'll be our next guest, man. And then after that, probably have Oliver from Fishing Syndicate. And then we're going to get CCA on here. And then we might just throw some in between our monthly as we start to I'm going to have one of the managers from McDonald's call and then discuss the Filet-O-Fish at some point. So that'll be one of our guests. Yeah, get him in here. Yeah, let's talk about what he's got. I wonder if it's real fish or if he has fish plus cardboard in that thing. Don't say that. It's the Filet-O-Fish, man. All right, Scott, we got to plug some things. We did a great job. Hold on, we got it. So we got the Patreon, right? So if you want to help the Real Anglers, we got to pop it. We do have a Patreon thing that we got going on right now. You can go check that out. Scotty's going to share it in the feed. If you want to become a member, we're going to put you in raffles for great products. All of our sponsors are giving us product to raffle or as a sweepstakes, whatever you want to call it, but high-end gear we're going to do every month. Also some of the photography from the real artwork. And what else we got, Scotty? Anything else you can think of? Well, the Patreon link is patreon.com/Real Angler Fishing Show, Real Anglers Fishing Show. Don't forget that S. And again, you can find this show on YouTube at the Real Angler Fishing Show link. And also realradio.fish will give you all that information with buttons to click for our sponsors, and also buttons to click to take you to the video, to take you to the previous podcast, etc. Excellent, man. Oh, last thing we do have a Maui Gym thing going on too. I have 18 slots left for Maui Gym and all the funding that we get from that. So we're like doing our own Kickstarter campaign. So the funds that come from the Maui Gym raffle for the glasses and the decals and the hats and everything actually go to help pay for our closed captioning, because during the day I'm still an exterminator for the best company in the world working. So whatever we could do to help generate some production funds, that's what we're getting on. Let's see. Jurassic Sport Fishing got your back all day. Yes, Vince. Vince has been sharing our information. Again, if you don't know Vince Culver, he's a great dude. He's a firefighter. First time I went fishing with him, I fell off the side of the mountain. He had me shimmying down a rope to try to pocket fish, and I fell on the side of the mountain. Nice. Yeah, that was great, man. But we caught some fish, and then Cooked him up at his pad. We had some chorizo burritos, but again, now we're just going on and on. So thank you very much, man. Real English Fishing Show, Real English Radio.
One more thing.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. One more thing we have to say. Special thanks to James Lantine.
Oh yeah, pop
White
that.
Rabbit Entertainment, because he put this together.
Look at this right here. Look at the setup. We got a camera there. We're live on YouTube. We're streaming it to our outlets.
Our humble little podcast studio became a broadcast studio, and I hope it looked great. And I know we had some little hitches at the beginning, but they worked out in the end. So we'll be doing this a lot more often. So next month for sure, you'll see us back here, and maybe something between then. Who knows? Yeah,
that's why we got to run. That's why we got to run those little ads, because Kevin, we got bills to pay, man. But you know what? It's worth it, man. Invest in yourself. We always go out with some motivational moment, and we're going to give it to you. And that's by Anglerware. Motivational moment. I think it's going to be about investment, man. There's a difference between spending and investing. Whether you're investing your time to go to a seminar, you're investing your time to go to a luncheon, you're investing your time to meet with a mentor, you're investing your surpluses of extra money instead of spending it, your happy hour money, you're investing it, man, for things that are going to come, maybe it be some swag or your airtime or whatever, but your sacred account should be where you put your money for investment, not just for a rainy day, but you want to invest that money. So when you do find the dream that you want to live, you don't have to try to find the revenue or an investor to help you get it. You got a little bit of capital of your own to invest. So difference between investing and spending. So that's it for today. Invest in yourself is the best thing you can do. Whether it's go back to school, I went back to do video production, and I started this Real English Fishing Show, and I invested 4 semesters plus being a TA, and then just investing my extra money I'm making overtime and pest control to help cover these expenses and getting it going. So invest, man. If you got a dream, a vision, a passion, the best thing you could do is invest in yourself. Read, listen to audio books, invest that time into it, man. Invest into your mind, your body, your spirit, and you'll be happy for it, because at the end of the day, your happiness is what we got. So be happy, do something great, go fishing. And Scotty, I'll wrap it up.
We will see you all next month, folks. Thanks again for listening. And Kevin, keep up the good work, man, because you're rocking it.
Thank you, brother. Oh, just put that out. Yeah, I'm going to be on KVTA tomorrow called Everything Under the Sun. Thanks for
AM 1590.
AM 1590. And Scotty, you working on that too?
I am. Thursdays I do video talk with about streaming videos, DVDs, Blu-rays with Tom Spence on the morning show.
Yeah. Oh, no, we don't have a new date. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. We don't have a new date for that charter, so we're going to see how that's going to go. There's only like 2 months left of the year before we close down for the rockfish closure. So I think we're looking at the beginning of the year. Anyway, yeah, man, we just out here, man, just a couple guys having our passion and our dream, man, is smiling, a little nervous with this whole setup. Check it out, Real Guppies. We got these workbooks coming out. If you want to get a workbook for your kid, hit me up and I'll send you guys them out for free. These are all free. So hit me up with the Real Guppies. Kevin Brandon with the Real English Fishing Show, my partner. Say what's up to James again, man. The Wizard of Oz, the man that made all this happen.
Man behind the curtain.
Yeah, man. The man behind the curtain. Thank you so very much. What you got to say, Scotty?
We'll see you.
Today's episode is brought to you by Maui Jim Sunglasses, Fishing Syndicate Rods, Promar Ahi USA, Anglerware, Channel Island Sport Fishing.
This has been a Rough Edge Studios production.
Be coming. Just stay tuned. National